more than 3,200 miles to the east in the Netherlands.
Right, guys, welcome to the castle of Valkenburg, one of the mightiest strongholds in the Middle Ages here in this region.
Rick Lagina, his nephews Alex and Peter, along with Doug Kroll and Emiliano Sacchetti, are meeting with author Corian Mull and historian Jacco Silvertent at a 12th century fortress known as Valkenburg Castle. In 1307, King Philip IV of France and Pope Clement V dissolved and prosecuted the Templar Order on charges of heresy. However, some believe that the true purpose was to obtain the priceless treasures that they may have found in the Holy Land during the 12th century Crusades, including the golden menorah that once stood in King Solomon's temple and the Ark of the Covenant. Hundreds of Templar knights were arrested and executed in prisons across Europe, such as Valkenburg Castle. However, many others eluded capture, and their sacred treasures have never been found.
Mind your head, go in.
Yeah, thank you.
Each of us, in our own way, are trying to make these very positive connections between what we're seeing and doing in the old world and how it may relate to Oak Island and the mystery.
Watch your head.
If we see that evidenced here, I think it will be quite impactful.
Be extremely careful.
Everybody here?
Yeah.
Okay, people, this is what I wanted to show you. We're in a dungeon here under the castle of Valkenburg. Our interest goes to these engravings on this 14th century wall.
If you look carefully, there is a 4-dot cross here, you see?
Yep. We seem to see these 4-dot crosses in a lot of places. We've seen it on the HO stone on Oak Island, and we've seen it actually throughout Europe. It's much more significant to us because we're kind of seeing it crop up all along this trail that we're chasing of the Knights Templar.
Could this be a goose paw?
No way. That is a goose paw. Remember when we saw this symbol in Nova Scotia?
Yeah.
That is the mark of the Masons for the Knights Templar.
Incredible.
In 2022, Corian Mull showed Rick and members of the team a so-called goose paw that, in addition to other symbols that are related to the Templar Order, was carved into the rocky shoreline in Liverpool, Nova Scotia, just 50 miles southwest of Oak Island.
That's just crazy. Doug, if you have a minute.
Yep. What are you looking at?
This symbol here I've seen in Templar prisons before, and it's sometimes described as a Viking sail.
Oh, really?
Because they had these sails with the horizontal cloths sewn together.
Yeah, I can see what you're pointing at. I mean, they are one of our primary suspects this year.
Yeah.
Just because of the convergence of so many 1200s dates.
A possible Templar carving of what may be depicting a Viking sail?
There's been thoughts that this is a Templar treasure on Oak Island, right? We know the suppression happened. We know they had motivation to maybe take something to a sanctuary far away from the Troubles. But how did they get there? How did they know about the New World?
Yeah.
So Templars used Vikings for transportation to come to the Promised Land, North America.
Earlier this year, retired professor of psychology Dr. Doug Simmons presented the team with his published research detailing how the Scandinavian Viking culture, which is known to have explored regions of North America more than 1,000 years ago, intermingled with the Templar Order during the 12th century Crusades, and may have helped them navigate across the Atlantic Ocean in order to hide their sacred treasures on Oak Island.
This might be a clue that there's a link between Templar and Viking technology.
Is it possible that Corian has just found more evidence in Valkenburg Castle that supports Dr. Simmons' theory?
That's a boat with 2 masts.
If so, could that explain not only the artifacts and structures discovered on Oak Island that may be related to the Templar Order, but also those that were scientifically traced to Scandinavia.
If there are Templar carvings in this dungeon, prison, to me that supports the idea that they did flee to the north.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what we suspected may have happened.
I agree. And they traveled through lands where they didn't have any holdings, so people wouldn't be looking for them.
There was a need for refuge, safe refuge. So where are you going to go? You're going to go to the New World, you have to cross the Atlantic. So what we are chasing now is that east to west voyage possibilities. Did the Norse really have the command of the oceans such that the Templars could rely on them?
They went a more practical way up north using the highway of the Middle Ages, the river.
Right.
That's part of this trip we're making. We'll be off to Denmark here soon.
Oh, it's going to be a lot more interesting now we know this.
Maybe there's a missing clue.
The following morning,
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
You're very welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Rick Lagina and the team have traveled to Kerteminde, Denmark, where they are meeting with museum curator Anne Jepsen Neborg at the historic Lelby Viking Museum.
So, do move in, guys. This is going to be very, very small.
In the hopes of proving more potential connections between the Vikings and the Oak Island mystery, Rick and Doug have brought a picture of a believed medieval crossbow bolt that was found on Oak Island back in the 1960s by the late Robert Dunfield.
As it turns out, we have something we would like to show, and that's currently being conserved and tested. So, Doug, I believe you have a picture of it.
I do.
It's a real interesting item and may have a story to tell.
That's the best photo I have of it.
Wow. Now we're talking. This is very interesting to me because this is the type of artifact that I could find tomorrow in an archaeological dig around here. This is very quintessentially the way that they made these artifacts in the Viking Age.
Oh.
And fortunately, I have a replica here. We have here an artifact which quintessentially looks very, very much like what we see here on the picture.
Right.
This is an arrowhead for what we would call a long bow.
Okay.
So these types of arrowheads, they come in around the beginning of the Viking Age. So we're talking about 800, we see this particular point. And then it goes on throughout the Viking Age and stops somewhere around the middle of the medieval period. So this is pre-1300.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
So this could have been used through the 1200s.
It could, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Vikings were very keen archers, both in war times and for hunting. So this, to me, is absolutely something that belongs to a Nordic or a Norse sort of way of doing it.
Yeah.
If Anne's assessment of this arrowhead is correct, could that help explain who created the megalithic structures on the island, such as the stone piles on Lot 15 and Nolan's Cross, which are believed to date back to approximately 1200 AD? Would it account for the other artifacts the team has found, which have been scientifically traced to Scandinavia? And finally, does it offer more evidence to support Dr. Doug Simmons' theory that Vikings assisted members of the Knights Templar in transporting their sacred treasures across the Atlantic Ocean to Oak Island as much as 800 years ago?
So, and we're always trying to put extra things, right?
Yeah.
We have a list of usual suspects for the activities on the island regarding the mystery.
Yeah.
So we just have to take this information back and build on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you.
You're very welcome.
Approximately 625 miles to the northeast in Newfoundland, Canada.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi there.
Welcome to Lance Meadows.
I'm Marty. I have brought the Oak Island contingent
Oh,
here.
lovely.
Marty Lagina, along with researchers Doug Kroll and Emiliano Sacchetti, archaeologist Laird Niven, and archaeometallurgist Emma Culligan, are meeting with Loretta Decker, a manager for Parks Canada, and archaeologist Kevin Smith, at the National Historic Site known as Los Olmedos.
This is, as you know, L'Anse aux Meadows National Historic Site. So L'Anse aux Meadows is the very first evidence of European presence in North America. The Norse here were coming from Greenland around the year 1000.
Encompassing nearly 31 square miles, L'Anse aux Meadows is currently the only verified Viking settlement in North America. Since its discovery in 1960 by Norwegian explorer and writer Helga Ingstad, nearly 800 Viking and Norse artifacts have been discovered here, in addition to the remains of 8 buildings, including a forge for the purpose of producing iron tools.
The reason we came here is because these two gentlemen went on an expedition to Europe, and they sort of did a kind of an east to west passage. It led to Scandinavia, and they found evidence that the Norse might have been somehow involved on Oak Island.
We followed the trails as far as Iceland, so we thought the logical place to pick it up was here in Newfoundland.
Makes sense. How are you? Good to see you again.
In 2023, Doug, Emiliano, and other members of the team traveled to medieval sites in Italy,
Oh, look at these. Oh, wow.
Denmark, and Iceland
Wow, look at this.
to investigate an incredible theory that during the early 13th century, Norse descendants of the Vikings helped members of the Knights Templar transport priceless religious treasures from Europe to Oak Island.
You see the Templar cross?
Incredibly, at numerous locations where researchers believe that both groups intermingle, the team saw a number of symbols and artifacts that are identical to others that have been discovered over the past 2 centuries on Oak Island. Now, Marty and the team are looking for more evidence at L'Anse aux Meadows that may also help connect the descendants of Vikings and the Knights Templar to the Oak Island mystery.
We know from evidence here that this would be like establishing a base camp on the moon. This is essentially a base camp for resource extraction. They're coming here because there's resources in this region, not just the L'Anse aux Meadows area, but this entire region.
Well, that sort of segues nicely into why we're here. It's not disputable that the Vikings or the Norse were here. What we're trying to figure out is where they might also have gone, specifically on Oak Island. You know, I mean, could they have visited? Could they have been part of what went on there?
They may not have been here during the summers. This is the wintering camp. This is probably where everybody's congregating to in the fall, after they come back from the expeditions which led them further south.
Okay, this is the only proven site in North America. Do you believe there are others?
The sagas talk about another place called Hop. Hop was a place where they worked in the summer. So yes, I do think there is at least Hop.
Been identified.
That's not been identified yet, no. But it's supposed to be somewhere to the south of here.
The other interesting thing, though, we know that they're going further south because we have butternuts and a butternut burl here in the collection. They were found just nearby. So in case you're wondering, butternuts have never grown here.
Right.
What geographic area are they known to have grown in?
The furthest north is in that Nova Scotia, New Brunswick region. Never here. That proves they did go as far south as Nova Scotia, for certainty.
The butternut seed infers that the Norse explored much further south because that butternut seed only grows between New Brunswick and New England. And that's important to us because in order to obtain that butternut, they may have came to Oak Island.
You said that Hop was the summer camp mentioned in the sagas.
Yes.
So could Hop be where they found those butternuts, or so could that be Nova Scotia?
Certainly.
That's real interesting. That means they could have gone as far south as Oak Island.
Yeah.
Speaking of possible connections between the Viking descendants and the Templars, we know the sagas even state that the Norse visited Rome to meet with the Pope, right?
Yeah.
The Templars were a Catholic order, and that put the Pope in direct control of them.
Yeah.
Right. I think all of those sagas, they all, when you see when they're written, they all, especially the ones dealing with this area, they're all linked into the church who are claiming land to the west.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the island, we've gotten some results in the past that indicate European activity in the 13th century.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah. So when you hear those dates, you automatically begin to think the Norse.
Yeah.
This is all incredibly interesting, and we are very keen to learn more. So what's next?
Well, come with me and I'll show you. Everybody, this is Ragnar.
Good day.
Hello.
Hello.
Also, my real name is Mark.
Marty Lagina and other members of the team continue their tour of the historic Viking settlement known as Lance o' Meadows.
I've been trained in the Viking Age aspect of blacksmithing. I've been working here for 25 seasons now. Yeah.
To give you some insight on why we're here, in our quest, down on Oak Island, we're starting to suspect that somehow the Norse may have had something to do with what happened there.
Last year, we managed to reacquire an artifact that was said to have been found in a dig in 1965. And it's this item here that Laird has. We showed that to an archaeologist over in Denmark, and she thought it was very reminiscent of the Viking time period. Do you think that weapon point could be made using your authentic early techniques?
It's possible. I've made arrows look like this.
Have you tested anything with it, or?
I've done XRF scans on it. It's definitely not like 1700s post. So the scans are ready.
In 2023, Emma Culligan analyzed the arrowhead in the Oak Island lab using an X-ray fluorescence spectrometer, a device that emits non-destructive radiation in order to identify the elements that make up an object's composition and which can help to determine their age and origin.
I think these levels would indicate like pre-1600s.
It may be supportive of these other dates from our other findings on the island that we have in a medieval context.
Yeah, exactly.
He was pretty good, the guy who made that?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It probably would have been made by bog ore as well.
Yeah.
So this stuff on the rock here that you see, and I can pass it around to you, right? You just spread it around, There you go, just pass it around. That's bog ore. Okay?
Yeah.
Generally what bog ore is, there's two major components, is ferrous oxide and sand. Where you find this stuff is actually in the bog, so it's prevalent in this kind of environment.
A little bit closer to Nova Scotia, Oak Island has a swamp as well.
Bog ore is a naturally forming iron deposit typically found in swamps or rivers and has been used across Europe in order to forge tools and weapons dating as far back as the 5th century BC. It was also a material commonly used by Vikings and their descendants. Is it possible that the iron arrowhead was also made with bog ore? And if so, could it help prove that the artifact is of Scandinavian origin?
We have some bog iron that's taken from the region that we can give you, Emma, for testing.
Yeah, I'm really excited to collect any kind of data of bog iron, and in the future I could compare Oak Island artifacts to potential bog iron.
Oak Island has become so complex in this time we've spent there, and with so many different possibilities, that we're just trying to eliminate some or gather some. So this is excellent. I'm pretty charged up. I think Rick's going to be very interested in the results of our mission to Lance o' Meadows. The trip was absolutely worth doing. Mark, many thanks. This has been very informative, really good stuff. Loretta, Kevin, thank you very much. We've got a lot of data here. We're going to get back to the island and go through it.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.